Guys, and welcome to another day with Zimaleta. In today's video I would like to talk a little bit about Expedite, and a lot of viewers, they've been writing me various type of comments, and some of these load boards that I'm going to talk about here is coming specifically from viewers. According to some of the viewers that are actually using these type of load boards, they're not that great. Perhaps it's really slow to try to get loads, but one of the main questions I get, it's like, hey, I got my MC number, pretty much like, what now? Why am I, why is it slow? Why can't I find any loads? And they're asking me as well, like, if I know like some load boards. I only know like the top two, but there's a 123 load board, I guess .com, Next Load, and Expedite Loads. Those are like the three new load boards that I actually heard from my viewers. I always recommend, like right below, the main one that's being used is Selectus. That's like the main one. So it'll be like selectus.com. I'm also going to include these in the description below. So if you want to know exactly how it's spelled, I'm going to put it like in the description below, guys. So if you want, you could look at it now and stuff like that. But we're going to talk a little bit about expediting, getting loads and stuff like that. If you are gonna try to get your own MC number, which I do recommend, if you're gonna stick around in this business, what can you do to try to like improve your situation and try to actually like build your business? I definitely want to talk about that. So what is another load board? It is XPO. XPO bought NLM. You probably heard of NLM, but they basically bought them, and XPO is kind of like the largest one right now. So whether they're going to have like, I don't know, like just like the biggest load board ever, like in time and stuff, I don't know. It certainly seems likely, but it doesn't seem like Selectus is going anywhere. Selectus, it's now like, it's renamed, it's something with an O, I can't remember like exactly how to write that, but I'm gonna put that in the description below. I'm just gonna put a link to them. So if you put Selectus, it still takes you to the Selectus, but it's got a different name with an O. I don't know why they changed the name. It's really confusing. It was always well, it was not always Selectus. It used to be called GPS1. And back in 2007, when I started out with Expedite, that's actually what everybody was using. And then Selectus came along. But what this really is, it's software. So you pay, I guess, for the software and like monthly subscription type of fee for Selectus, and basically you get on it. You might be wondering, how much does it cost to get on Selectus and what is the requirements and stuff like that. Last I've checked, and then after that I've talked to some of my viewers that's actually got Selectus, so I'm gonna use that information. It might be a little bit outdated, but last I've checked, Selectus will not let you on unless you've been in business for 6 months. So what does that really tell me? Maybe you've been expediting for the past 11 years just like me, and you're trying to get on Selectus. Is this enough for you? Well, unless you had an MC this whole time, it's not enough. So once you have MC for the 6 months, they'll let you on there. Selectus used to cost about like $400 a month. According to some of my friends, it's actually used to pay for it and stuff like that. But last I've heard from one of my viewers, he says it costs $9,000 per year. Whether that is, I don't know, for a certain amount of vans or not, or like an individual, I don't know. I'm assuming the less vans you have, the less access they give you, I guess the cheaper it's going to be and stuff like that, in that regard. But like with anything, it's going to take time, to grow. Like you can't like right away get on Selectus. Obviously it's gonna take like 6 months. So what do you do until then? You're just going to have to build your MC number up, like your own credit. It's like a 100-point system for getting loads and stuff like that. So I recommend what's called networking with other carriers, and also with brokers and stuff like that. And I know what you guys gonna say, hey, can you give us some brokers and stuff like that? But I would like to point you in the right direction. The brokers that kind of like typically everybody starts working with. Like for instance, the company that I'm working with now, I've been with them forever, since like 2013. and I've been off and on with this company because at times I work for two companies, then I would not work for them, and then I would work for another one. But I was always kind of like staying in contact with the company, and we have a good understanding. But anyways, they used to expedite loads themselves. Particularly the husband, he used to expedite loads, and then they decided to go into business for themselves, and basically they got Landstar, and Landstar was giving them loads. And in the beginning, they could not get all these other cool loads that they're getting now, of course, and it was really tough for 2 years. And if you could make it those like 2 years of business, then you will be in business. So um, you will start building your name, because in the beginning nobody knows you, nobody trusts you. Like they look at you like, okay, I don't remember this guy, you know. But I will also talk about like when you do a load, how to actually get paid right away for that load. And I just gonna throw this out right away. And basically the way you do it, it's called like there's like factoring companies. There's a lot of them. Typically they take between like 2 and 3% from your load to themselves, but you get your money right away. It's not so bad if you kind of think about it. Let's say you bid a load for $1. We're just gonna use $1. I think it's really low. I think if you're in business for yourself, you should not bid $1. You should always be higher than $1. Because why would you do it for any less? Than I don't know, $1.20, $1.30. At least. Um, because you're in business for yourself, you have a little bit more, I guess, responsibilities and stuff like that, and plus you're still driving for yourself and stuff like that, and you got to make it worth your while. After all, you got to find your own loads now. You can't sleep like you want to, so it's that kind of thing. And you have to imagine the logistics company that gives you loads, they take a cut. The broker gives them a load, they take a cut. Like everybody takes a cut of the pie. And from what I hear, it starts off at being $3 and goes all the way to like, I don't know, 65 cents. Everybody takes a piece of the pie. But anyways, what does factoring companies do and how do they work? As soon as you book a load yourself, like with your own MC number, of course you have your bill of lading, and you find a factoring company and you send them this bill of lading in, and they're gonna pay you. And usually it takes about like a day or two to get paid from them, maybe like right away. But here's the problem. They will not pay for every single thing that you send. They have like a list of companies that they will pay, and then they have like, I guess, like a blacklist. It's these companies, and could be logistical companies, could be like warehouses, and could be like certain like manufacturers and stuff like that. Maybe they don't pay their bills in time. Like they hire somebody to do the load, but it takes months upon months upon months, maybe a year or more to get your money. Sometimes you never get your money, and they just disappear, called bankruptcy or whatever. And factory companies, they're very powerful. They have a lot of money, and they could easily fight it, and they could go after their bonds and stuff like that. But at times, maybe that's not enough or whatever, and they don't want to really deal with it. So they're going to have a list. Don't take loads from these companies, because they have a bad credit score. If you want to get paid from us right away, or if you still decide to take it, then you're gonna have to wait till you get paid. And this business, like any other business, you could get screwed over. So when you go into business for yourself, like there's like really like nobody protecting you but yourself. So if you have the money to fight it, then I guess you could do it, or if you have the know-how or whatever. But typically it's going to cost you a lot of money, and even for those logistical companies that are kind of powerful, they have to wait sometimes like a while. And from what I hear, sometimes they never get paid. They pay us, but they never get paid. So if you look at that aspect of it, this will explain why they're giving us the lowball money that they're giving us, because each time they're booking a load, they might be booking it from companies that don't pay right away, and they need to pay you right away. So in a way, they're taking a risk, because they might never get paid for that load. But overall, they're charging more here, more there. They're going to make their money back. That's why when you go into business for yourself, and you're loading other drivers, I mean, I recommend just do this right away and just pay a fair price. What the driver is worth. Don't try to pay above, because yes, you're gonna have a lot of takers, but in the long run, you might go out of business because somebody not going to pay you. So imagine if 1 out of 10 companies would not pay you, and you know, let's say you make 10 cents off each load, okay, but 1 out of 10 companies will not pay you. So that's a loss. Like you'll need 10 companies to basically get the 10 cents from to cover that dollar. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you might need to, I don't know, like minimize your losses. You might need to try to make 30 cents, on each company. That way, every three company is covering, that potential 10th company that's not going to pay you. I guess that's like another story. Um, but anyways, let's get back to, I guess, Selectus and XPO. XPO, supposedly you could get on them after getting your MC. 1 month passes because you need to wait about a month before you could use your MC number. Uh, you could actually go ahead and get on with XPO. But XPO has been kind of tricky. Like they got a lot of truckloads and stuff. They got a lot of expedite freight. I think for trucks, it's a lot easier to get on. Like I think for them, like 1 month and then boom, you could get on the XPO load board, and it's cool. It's awesome. For expediters, they might be a little bit tricky. They might want you to have like more than one van. Maybe they want to have, you to have 4 vans. Maybe they want you to have 10 vans, and stuff like that. Um, and same thing, I guess, with Selectus. They're going to take you a little bit more seriously when you have like about like 10 vans that's working for you, or 10 of your own personal vans with your own VIN numbers. So this is why I've been accumulating my vans, even though I'm not in a position right now to try to launch a company like right away and stuff like that. But I opened up a company right away. I got the website going. I basically got the ball rolling. If I ever wanted to go ahead and start expediting, somebody somewhere heard of me. So it's going to make it a little bit easier for me to just dive into this business. And as a matter of fact, I think getting into expediting is by far going to take less money for me to get started in, less effort because I know so much about it, and I'm able to easily communicate with like companies and like generally people, because I do respect everybody like both ways, because I understand logistical companies, they need us and we as drivers need them, and there should be like mutual respect between each other, because after all, we as drivers, we're contractors, and potentially uh, you're going to open up your own company, and that's the relationship you have built over the years. You've worked with those companies, and once you open up your own MC number, here's where the networking comes in, the networking aspect of the things. You could just call up XYZ LLC and you say, hey, my name is so and so. I used to work with you guys. Remember? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up? You coming back or whatever? And you're like, hey, I opened up my own company now. I'm doing my own thing. They're like, oh yeah, great. So you might want to say, hey, do you want to? Sometimes I'll give you some of my loads, and I'll cover some of your loads and stuff like that under my own MC. Yeah, 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 sure. That's no problem. We take such and such a cut. They might already go ahead and name their price, whatever, because after all, companies, they sell loads to other logistical companies, and because they know what you do, what kind of work you do, and what kind of relationship you have built over the years, they're gonna trust you. They're gonna say, yeah, sure, we're gonna help you. Yeah, yeah. Can you work with us for an X amount of dollars, per mile? Let's say like they're gonna say like some lowball offer, like 90 cents, and that's considered lowball, compared to whatever. Still take it, because here's what's gonna happen. You're taking the load under your own MC, and you could trust that company because they've paid you before, so they're gonna pay you. And what's going to happen is they're going to actually help build your credit. So once they help you build your credit, now you're looking more responsible to everybody else on the load board. You're not just like a nobody anymore. You've done loads, so it's very important to do those. Now also remember, when you go to each company that you go to, of course, you have all the bill of ladings that you could, save potentially. That's got like brokers on there and stuff like that. You could possibly contact those brokers and talk to them and say, hey, I did such and such a load for you guys. Remember back in the day? Well, which one was that? You could even maybe name, maybe you'll name like point A to point B, what company that was and what it was. Maybe you could give them like some kind of like a bill of lading number. But of course, keep in mind that was not you per se doing it, but you could possibly tell them you used to be a driver, and for some kind of company, and you had a good time driving and stuff like that. But you learn enough about the business that you decided to go into the business for yourself. So when you do that, uh, basically, it's going to be like respect built. They go, oh, great, and tell them how long you've been in business and stuff like that. You know what's going on, what's important. It's important to get the loads on time and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I guess like getting there in time to pick up the load and deliver on time. Like, those are like the key factors. You always have to make sure that exactly what is required of you, because like in a nutshell, nobody really cares about you. They care about themselves, and they care whether you know what they want out of you. So it's like they want to basically hear like, what are you going to do for them? You know what I mean? So if you're going to tell them like what you're going to do and they're going to like what they hear, chances are you're going to get that load. So you need to get established, and for some people it's going to take like 2 years to get established as their own logistical companies. For some people it's going to take a lot longer, and it all is going to depend on the, like, are you a people person, or are you responsible at what you do? How well are you able to network with others? And it's gonna you're gonna need to get organized. There's gonna be a lot of notes and stuff that you're gonna need to take, things of that nature, because you're gonna have all these brokers that you're working with and stuff like that. And speaking of brokers, let's get back to uh, Landstar. Landstar has a lot of brokers. So what you could do is you could actually like request like, well, call like Landstar. They're located like in Jacksonville, Florida, and try, I guess, like a couple approaches. Like, try like one of the approaches saying that you are your own logistical company and you're looking to get some loads from them or something to work with brokers, and see what they're gonna say. Because they might take it positively and stuff like that. But here's typical what's going on. Like, when you call up like somebody like Landstar, and you're gonna say, hey, I've been in business for like X amount of days, and I heard about you guys, and heard some good things and stuff like that, and I'm looking to work with you guys. And they're gonna say, oh, well, what kind of van you have? Well, tell them what kind of van you have, and they might say, wow, great, you got a new van and stuff. They like that. Yeah, sure, like, we want to work with you. And then you could like ask him, hey, once I open up my own MC number, because I'm thinking about doing that, like, after a while, because I've been in business for X amount of, I guess, like, years, and will I be able to work, continue working with you guys, have like a business relationship go, and see what they say. They might say, yeah, sure. But here's the important thing that happens when you are working with them, just like with them, and they're loading you and stuff. First of all, they pay you kind of fair. But what they're gonna say is, when you're working with us, you're gonna need to build relationships with our brokers. Okay, so they're gonna give you a list of brokers to call. So maybe you need to kind of like go like under the radar and say, hey, I'm interested in working with you guys, because there's nothing wrong in getting some loads under their own MC number instead of like your MC number while you're working for them. And you're gonna have access to like all these brokers all over the country, and they want you to build relationships with these brokers because they have them all over the place. So if you do good work for one broker, let's say that broker will now trust you. Maybe he's going to call you up with other loads. And after you do good loads for him, call up some of these other brokers to say, hey, I'm working with such and such a broker that works with Landstar and stuff, and we have a good relationship going. Can we work together and stuff like that? And they might say, yeah, sure. What is his name? And you'll give his name and stuff like that. Like, yeah, we know him. So what he likes, like he likes the, I guess, your business relationship stuff, and is satisfied. Pretty much, you're like, yeah, well, you could ask him, yourself. Like, yeah, sure. So it's kind of like a reference. They might call that other broker up and they're gonna say, hey, so how's this guy doing for you? He called me up trying to do work with me, and how's he doing? And they're gonna say, yeah, he delivers loads on time. He's fast. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing and stuff like that. And could I work with him too? Like, he's gonna be, of course. So you start building those relationships, and okay, and then obviously you're gonna get the ball rolling and stuff like that, and then after a while you'll be able to easily get on load boards and start loading other people, and stuff like that. So now we're gonna skip over a little bit. We're gonna jump back into like when you actually make a delivery at like each point. Some manufacturers, sometimes you pick up from there. Well, I'm going to focus primarily on local companies within your area where you actually are situated from. For me, it's kind of like Charlotte. So there's a lot of places that I've delivered to and from, like in Charlotte, just like locally and stuff like that. These companies, because I'm always picking up from them, they recognize me. So like each time I come in there, they'll joke around. They're like, "Hey, here, have some donuts and blah blah blah, and here's some gifts for your kids or whatever." Because they get to like know you and stuff, and after a while they respect you, and you build this kind of like this little relationship. You're just picking up a load there, but they know you and they trust you and they like you. If you establish that, like, you don't need to because you're just a driver for some other company, but if you do establish this thing, later on you could say, "Hey, I opened up my own thing." They're gonna be happy for you, and they're gonna say, "Hey, yeah, 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 if you're gonna need some loads, let us know, whatever," and they might work with you directly. And I'm talking about people in the shipping department that they have like the say so, who gets the loads. I remember some of these guys, they're like, "Hey, we want to work with you directly, tell us when you're gonna be doing your own thing and stuff like that, and call us up." Many companies, like even those that's like not from my area, and some companies, they're just gonna give you loads like that, guys. And it's important to build those relationships with the manufacturers, with the warehouses, locally, and stuff like that. And you start building your MC number up, and before you know it, people know you, and they know you for who you are, like what kind of work you do and stuff like that, and they could care less about your other history. So that is that. So let's focus on the actual load board portion. Let's say it is $9,000 per year. It's quite expensive. Even I would, at that price point, hesitate. But if you could get good at finding loads yourself, and you're driving now a dollar, above a dollar, you're basically driving what you're meant to get paid. Why not? Since now you've learned the business enough, why should you now load yourself? Why not start? Find yourself about, like, I don't know, 4 people, start loading those guys, and once you build yourself up to like 10 vans that you're loading, and you have those 10 initial like VIN numbers and stuff like that, the guys that you're working with, why not then build that relationship further, and then uh, load these guys, and then you take yourself out of the equation where you're driving and that responsibility, and now you're loading guys that's got their own vans, they got their own responsibility and stuff, and all you're going to be doing is you're actually going to be loading those guys. Therefore, you'll be able to actually afford to keep this load board going, and you're going to be able to have a little bit more access, because there's certain like different access points. It could be price points, it could be amount of vans that you have. I think it's meant on how many vans you have and what kind of credibility that you have with them, like what kind of credit score, to where they give you more access. And once you have that access, to more, you'll want to build on that. You'll want to actually work with XPO, try to get some Ford loads, try to get some GM loads. The most important like relationship that you could build, man, is like Ford and GM. If you could get those things built up in the company, it's like, consider you made it, because you're gonna have steady loads coming from Ford and GM, and you're gonna know where they're going. A lot of times, where's Ford and GM loads are going, they're going, like for instance, we're just gonna use Michigan for example. They're going from Michigan, let's say, to Ohio. Not a far distance, right? But they're also going from Michigan to Kentucky. They're going from Michigan to Missouri, basically Kansas City, Missouri, sometimes St. Louis. And also from Michigan, they're gonna take you to Dallas, Texas. They're going to take you to mainly like Laredo and Brownsville area. They're also going to take you to El Paso and Nogales, and also Calexico, California. But also keep in mind, from Calexico, California, you might get a load all the way to Louisville, Kentucky. From Louisville, you might get a load all the way to Missouri. From Missouri, you're gonna go to Michigan, or back to Texas. So from Texas, you're gonna get a load to like Michigan. So you have like a chance of having these long loads. And this is what I do, and this is why I make the kind of money that I make, because I have steady loads like that coming in. because this company is pretty established. This is why I choose a company primarily that has access to Ford and GM, because to me, this company has made it. And I could afford to work at 80 cents for many reasons. Main reason is that it's consistent loads. Now, like the secondary reasons, my van's paid for, my insurance is less, my property's paid for. Like I don't have like none of these extra expenses, so I could actually afford to do that. Plus, the major thing, I could do service myself, all the repairs and maintenance myself, so I'm able to actually make more. And now that I don't have these extra expenses, I could build on that and really make something better of myself. Now you might be wondering is like, if I know all this information, why am I not getting into it, and how long is it going to take for me to actually get into it? But I'll tell you something, guys, I really don't know whether I will seriously get into it, but I think that there is a high likelihood of me doing it. But before I do it, I want to pursue some of my other dreams, because as an expert at anything, I really know how to do it well. And I've been doing this for the past 11 years, so you can't say it's not something I don't like to do, because I do like it. But there's other things that I enjoy doing more. Like I enjoy working with cars, but I don't want to be a mechanic. I just enjoy like doing projects. I would call it more like a hobby. There's another thing that I want to pursue, and that is actually the real estate, type of thing. That I understand that I could do sometimes. That's more like an investment. That's like no cash flow there. So that's something there. I also want to really pursue the business of sales. We're talking about internet sales, like Amazon, eBay. I particularly want to build a platform on my website and expand on that to have probably like the largest source of maybe used Sprinter parts that you could come and get it, alongside with just Mercedes parts. Like I really want to focus and build the Mercedes aspect of it. I will sell some other parts that's maybe like related to like Nissan's, Infinities, and some other brands on like eBay, probably like eBay store. Probably have like a place there. And comparatively, I'm gonna try to compare the two, like how well am I doing on my website versus my say like eBay store and stuff like that. And I'll be able to like build on that. And because I have the reputation with you guys that's watching me, you guys understand that I know like what I'm talking about as far as like when it comes to sprinters and expediting and stuff like that. And you could trust me, because I'll tell you if this is a bad part, it's a good part. I'm not going to try to sell you some kind of crap. And that being said, I'll also like provide warranty and stuff, at least like a month warranty, to where we could exchange the part or whatever. We'll have some kind of like warranty like that. Now going on further, I still want to pursue the idea of having a car dealership. And of course, this is probably going to be like something for like a separate video, but I'll just tell you like my idea, like as of now. I like driving nice cars, like sports cars and stuff like that. I really don't own anything nice right now as of yet. I have some cars that I could sell and they're nice, pretty good. But I'm talking about like nice, sports cars. We're talking about like high-end Mercedes, Porsche, maybe like a Maserati and Corvette and stuff like that. If I'm going to pick up like a car like that for myself, I'm going to fix it up, make videos about it and stuff like that. But then I will sell it, and after I sell like 5 cars and stuff like that, I will take it to the next level. I'll become a dealer. And the reason I want to become a dealer is that first of all, I love to do that. I'll be able to drive all the cars that I've dreamed of driving my whole life, and I'll be able to sell them. And I'll, like when I'm driving, I'm just putting in my dealer tag in there. So I'll probably have like 2 or 3 at a time for sale. So I think in a way, with the YouTube thing, my popularity will grow, and maybe even some of you guys might say, hey, I want to own a car that, Zimaleta used to drive, just as a conversation piece, because, you're going to get it for about the same price what you can get it for online. Why not get it from me? I've everything about that car because I made videos. I was very thorough, and then it's going to be interesting that I actually drove that car. Maybe you want to keep that car or whatever, stuff like that. But anyways, guys, I hope you really like this video. We touched on a lot of subjects. We could go on and on and on about the stuff, but I just wanted to kind of throw out there, guys. I do have other ideas and stuff, and plus with the YouTube thing, I really want to expand more on that and online marketing and advertising stuff like that. So possibly I have other, you know, dreams that I could pursue first, and they're gonna work. But anyways, guys, God bless you. Take care of yourself, and see you in my next video.